Hello, I'm Carol Buick, and last week I had the absolute pleasure of having a chat with Leona Knox, who's head of research at Solving Kids Cancer, and we recorded some of that chat, so I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to our first People Behind the Charities interview, and we're very lucky to have with us today Leona Knox from Solving Kids Cancer. Welcome, Leona. Solving Kids Cancer, I mean, we know it's a fabulous charity, but there's so many cancer charities out there. What makes Solving Kids Cancer so special?
Solving Kids Cancer is a really special charity. What we do is focus on a particularly aggressive childhood cancer that affects very young children and babies. We try to fund pioneering clinical research so that those children have options in the clinic and to build on the scientific understanding of the disease to help future children. We have parents, staff, and parents on the trustee board, which means that we just have an intrinsic passion about helping these children, and it's the reason I think this charity is so special.
You talk about that passion. It's something that really shines through, I think. Why are you in particular so passionate about it?
So my son was diagnosed with neuroblastoma in 2011, and for me, we trod this path that was so difficult as a parent of a child who was diagnosed with cancer. The way I see it for him was that we ran out of options to treat his disease. He passed away in 2014, so I don't see it as Oscar died from cancer. I see it that he died because we ran out of options to treat it. So that brings the passion that I have for this job, and I just want to make sure that we improve things for the future so that other families don't face the outcome that we have to.
So, I mean, that's such a powerful reason for wanting to work there. What's your role? What do you do? Is there such a thing as a typical day for you?
So I am head of research at Solving Kids Cancer. I oversee the delivery of our clinical research portfolio. I work as secretariat to our scientific advisory board and manage our international portfolio of clinical trials. A typical day, it's really difficult. I mean, pre-pandemic, maybe, but with all the uncertainty now about with the projects, with our funding streams, with everything, it's made everything feel a lot more uncertain. And of course, I've had two tiny co-workers at home with me for a long period of time, so that's changed things as well. But every day, overall, we have the projects that we are working on long term, but anytime we see an opportunity, we grab it with both hands. So that brings an excitement as well that not every day is the same.
You talk about your tiny co-workers that are there with you. Let's just spill the beans on the rest of your team. What are your colleagues like? Tell us.
Well, I have a great team. It's been really interesting during the lockdown actually to get to know people a lot better because I don't work at the charity's office in central London. I've always worked remotely, so this switch to virtual working has really changed things. We're all connected a lot more virtually now, and we've got to see what's going on for everyone at home, an insight into everybody's lives, and they're just great people. And I wouldn't work in this team if I didn't feel the passion right across the board for this cause. And that's so important. And I think when it comes to childhood cancer as well, it's such an emotionally charged area that I just have huge respect for anybody who comes into this world of their own choice and dedicates their lives to improving things for these children, which many of my colleagues have done. So I feel very lucky to be in the team that I'm in.
That's a really good point. I mean, how do you and your colleagues keep yourselves motivated and upbeat when you're surrounded with such an awful thing?
It can be really, really difficult at times. I mean, we grow so close to the families that we work with and that we support, and not every outcome is a good one, sadly. So that is extremely difficult. But because we have because we are emotionally connected to our cause, every one of us feels that, and we all know when another colleague needs support, and we step in to do that. And of course, our CEO has been great in making sure that everyone and everyone's well-being is really well looked after, which is just crucial, even more so now in this time that we live in. But I think it's all down to the people that you work with, isn't it, really? And we've got such a good bunch, and we keep each other going and keep each other focused on the goal.
How many of you are there?
So right now we have 12, and all spread out, and quite a number of the team are hoping to get back into the office in London very soon. Um, it's been such a strange experience for everybody, I think, having to just shift your working life and the pattern of your working life so quickly. But we've been so lucky that the charity and the board of trustees has been very supportive of these changes, and we've all managed brilliantly. So that's been great.
You're about the same size as we are at AMRC, so we definitely appreciate that, and we appreciate having the people around you being a really important part of your work, particularly when you're working for a charity like that. What's your favourite thing about working at Solving Kids Cancer? When I ask my colleagues that, they can say everything from chocolate to stupid games. So feel free to say anything you want.
Gosh, well, I feel like I might say give a much more serious answer than you were expecting. I think for me personally, it's seeing the impact of what we're doing. If we see a project initiated and funded that we know will make a difference for children here and now that otherwise wouldn't have happened, that is just so rewarding for me. And it's the whole reason that I exist in this role. So without doubt, that's my very number one. But I think close second are my colleagues, the fun that we have. We're all looking forward to getting back together again. So yeah, that's my answer.
If you could have one wish for Solving Kids Cancer, what would it be?
So I think, like many charities, right now the big question for all of us is around income and making sure that we are sustainable and that we are future proof and that we can fulfill our mission as a charity. It's extremely frustrating for us when we have a research strategy, we've our funding framework in place, and we're seeing accreditation, all those things. We've worked really hard with the research community. We know what it is we need to do to make a difference for children, and money is holding us back. That is hugely frustrating when you work within the charity sector. But yeah, I think that would have to be my answer, that a windfall would be the best thing.
I hear you. What makes you most proud about your job?
Well, I think one of the highlights for us in Solving Kids Cancer is our conference each year. We bring our parent community together with the research community and trying to bridge that gap of understanding. And it works both ways, of course. And what we do is have a residential event, and we have families there, we have all the children there, and just seeing the children that we are here to support and to really change the future for. It makes me so proud that we're working on their behalf, because they're so little and they're so vulnerable and defenseless. So seeing them and knowing that we're doing good work to help those children just makes me so proud.
As you should be. And finally, what was your first thought when we asked you to do this and be our first interviewee?
Well, my very first thought was, no, I don't like being on camera. This is terrible. My second thought was, I feel really proud that you wanted to talk to me and about the work of our charity, which I feel just so passionate about. And I think overall, knowing that it was with you guys and that it would not be a difficult thing to do, it just made me happy, and I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you, Leona. It's been an absolute honour. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.